What's up? What's up? Welcome, everyone. We are live again today. It's going to be a good, quite a big news event today. Obviously, we've got the CPI news event happening, so should be a relatively good one. That being said, we are going to be trading it live, and you'll see my reaction. What's up? What's up? You good? You good? Bang, bang. Hello, hello. How's everyone doing today? You good? Bang, bang. Let me showcase my screen. Boom. There we go. I'm doing well, man. Can't complain. Can't complain. How are you doing? What have you been trading this week? These charts are very busy. We will be doing a giveaway today, yes. Later on in the stream. Stick around. DXY. Oh, we broke out of this range. Gapped out of it. Hello, hello. So this year is a gap coming from the ceasefire. So once the notification of the ceasefire came in, we got this gap. Market moved quickly and very volatile at the moment. So with the dollar now flipping to bearish, as you can see, we've now flipped to a bullish market structure, broken through this area of resistance. So it's not bad. So this is what we were looking at. I think it was last week. When was this? Last week. We were looking at this last week, but the dollar was still rallying to the upside. Obviously, now we are looking more bearish. Okay, you're asking, how do you structure your risk management, lot size, stop loss placement, exposure, and spreads execution? Well, the thing is, when those types of things happen, it's not about structuring your risk management because that's an unknown variance. So when you look at stats and you look at things like that, you factor in that there's unknowns that can happen. So when you're looking at trading, how this would look, you would think of it as you position yourself to risk 1%, but know that it could possibly go to 1.5 to whatever happens. Because I mean, if you're trading a news event, you must understand that whatever you're risking will be almost double, triple. So you could potentially not risk too much, that if things do happen and price is volatile and you get some slippage or anything like that, it shouldn't matter too much if you aren't risking too much on your trade. So if your lot size isn't too big and you're trying to really just sculpt the market, but if you more swing intraday, bigger stop losses will sort of counter that and give you better room. My thoughts for CPI, what I would like to see is I would like for the dollar, because obviously now there's talks about the ceasefire that has been broken. I would like for the dollar to be bullish. So if we're looking at previous, so we've got the core CPI, and we've got the CPI. We're looking at, did this already? No, it didn't. I was going to say. So we're looking at a previous for core CPI. We've got the previous 0.2. The forecast is 0.8 better than the forecast. Then, that's pretty good for the dollar. If it comes out worse, then it's bad. So I would like this data to come out better. No Trump, I think that he's probably done something and positioned, all of this around strengthening the dollar. A stronger dollar means a stronger currency, stronger economy. So I would like to believe that they are pushing for a stronger dollar. But always there's room to change. So to say, show EU, yeah. So EU is here still. As we can see, we flipped. Price was very bearish in this range. We hadn't broken structure. This high hadn't been taken. This high came close, didn't take it. Showed signs of reversal, and now all of a sudden bullish. I would say we can see bullish momentum to continue. Gold wise, we are looking at a bit of structure to the upside, but like I say, I would like for the dollar to be bullish with this news, and then potentially see the gold be bearish. So let's clean this chart up a bit. 2 more minutes. Yeah, we're very close to it. So let me just coming into the lower time frames. Right, so I'd like dollar to be bullish, gold to be bearish. 24 seconds. Let's see what happens. Okay, we are seeing some spikes at the moment, but for me, I would like for the dollar to be bearish. Once again, guys, this is not trading advice or anything. I'm merely just watching. TGR trader, no. I'm just watching the event. So we can see a bit of a spike before the event. I still think that gold will be bearish here. Let's see how it goes. Okay, came out worse than expected. So we could potentially see the dollar dropping. Yeah, so gold will buy if the dollar continues to drop. Why is gold frozen? I wish I was TGL. I would say my biggest weakness as a trader, that's a very good question. I think time. Time is my biggest weakness. I would say time. So not having time to trade. Okay, so we could potentially still see this flip bearish. I would like to see gold sell, dollar buy. We could potentially see this. This could be the early move, and then potentially move there. But yeah, I would say time is my biggest weakness now as a trader, because obviously, with everything going on, work and other goals that I want to achieve, I think time is the biggest thing that keeps me busy per se. But always looking to improve that, trying to give more time to trading and sort of allocate more time to it. Okay, DXY is flipping bullish, so this should see some movement now. Quite a big move here, though, I must say, in the open. It's very nice to see. We've got quite a big move here for the opening range. Looking at the higher time frames, we can go to like 15. We can see that this could potentially see a liquidity grab. As you can see here, we have now broken this high and flipped. So we could see this area coming in as a resistance. And now we've taken the highs here, which obviously, as traders, we know there would be a lot of liquidity in this area. So we could potentially flip bearish now, which would be good. Dollar wise, also tapped into this area. And we can see that price could potentially hold here. We haven't taken these lows, which would indicate that we are still bearish. So I'd like to see dollar flip, but like I say, anything can happen. Let's continue answering some questions. Yo, the market is top. Yeah. What separates consistently profitable traders from the struggling ones? I would say consistency in itself. If you show up every day to the markets, then you get the results that you want. If you keep doing work and you keep putting in effort, you will see results. A prime thing about that is when I was in my learning phase, as you could say, I had a big problem where I didn't have capital. Naturally, it happens to a lot of traders who are starting out. Didn't have capital, and I would sit there and I would show up every day, but it was horrible. I mean, you're not trading for anything except practice. And every single day, New York session, I was there for the session, taking notes, learning, seeing how I would have traded, watching how I would have traded, and sort of, done my best to show up every day. And I think that's one thing that a lot of traders don't do. They only show up when something matters. So, like if they have a funded account, then you show up. But it's the work that you put in before that really comes to fruition. Do you rely on structure, indicators, or price action? So I rely on structure, man. I trade mainly structure. And even when trading news, I wait for a setup to show. So like right now, there's just nothing showing me, especially because my bias is bearish. I'm not seeing anything, that can tell me I need to jump in here. So what I would like to see now is because we've now taken this high. This could have been an indicator that we are going to sell from here, but because we've taken this high, the news itself is quite bullish for gold and bearish for the dollar. So there's nothing really for me to take a trade right now. If let's say we didn't break this high and price came up here, even this candle, we came up but rejected and we started to move, I would wait for a pullback. I would then enter stop loss above the high, and then into my trade. But right now, there's just nothing for me that's saying, listen, you need to jump in this. For me now to take a trade, I would need this to flip bearish, take out these lows, then pull back, take a trade with a stop loss above the high. So I don't trade with the trend or against it. I trade with my bias, which I form based on economics and what's happening with the world. And then I trade based on market structure. What's your risk to reward ratio on average trades? 1 to 2. Honestly, 1 to 2. Hello, interesting, Ryan. Interesting, Yen. How do you decide whether to trade initial spike, the retracement, or continuation? I never trade the initial spike. I'll be honest with you. It's a gamble, because there's no reason to trade it because it can go either way. How to overcome FOMO? I would say best way to overcome FOMO is to have a rule-based approach. So only jump in trades when it fits your rules. Like that fear of missing out, you do get it, but eventually, once you've burnt yourself so many times where you've taken like unnecessary losses, then it becomes a thing of you just understand that it's not good for you to be in every trade. So taking it more serious in terms of following your rules, having like a journal, writing down a checklist as to why you're entering the rules is also very good. It's not bad at all. I'm just going to stop sharing quickly. Okay, I'll share again. I just don't like looking to the left for this. So yeah, I would say that's the best thing. How much are you risking per trade? It depends. If I'm trading like a personal account, I'll risk a bit more depending on the size. But on funded accounts, I'm not risking more than 1% in the funded phase, purely because it's a numbers thing. If you look at it, if you risk 1%, you have 10 trades that you can lose in a row to blow the account. Now you factor into the thing of commissions, and sometimes you risk a bit more. So fair enough. You then factor that in. Now looking at the 2%, you have 5 trades, and so on and so forth. It's not about trying to make as much money as possible. It's about actually just following your rules, getting payouts, being consistent with the payouts. I'd rather have 10 consistent payouts, week after week, than one massive one where I blow it and then I'm not able to do it again. At what point do you stop trading for the day? If I take a win. If in London session I take a W on Euro USD, and that's me done because I've got what I need. I don't need to risk more, That's essentially the best way to do it, in my opinion. Sometimes I'll still trade New York after, but it's only if it's an A+ setup. want to see if I missed any questions. How do you handle losing streaks without revenge trading? So losing streaks do happen. They're tough. I'll never forget the biggest losing streak I ever had was when I was live trading. I had a private Discord and I was live trading. It wasn't charged or anything; it was free. And I would live trade every day and pass fundeds and do all that. And essentially, I I went on like a 2 week losing streak. Now, for me, my setup, I don't take massive risk reward. I take more wins than I take losses, so my risk reward is lower, but it's fine. And I just kept losing every trade. I would be in profits and I'd be looking great, and all of a sudden I'll take a loss. And I sat down, and this is when I really sat down how to come out of that losing streak rut. And I sat there and I realized, okay, what do you need to do? You need to get that momentum back, because most of the time it's psychological. Get that momentum back. So what I started doing is I started taking profits when my trades were in 1 to 1 or 1 to 0.8, whatever. I'd take profit, not because of the money that's important, but the mindset is I'm winning again. I'm getting back into winning, and eventually you just start shuffling out into letting your trades run and go back into things. And it's a nice way to sort of counter the losing streak. So it was, yeah, I would say best thing is to do that. So just what I call getting yourself out a losing streak, and also like out of drawdown. I like to refer to the fact of, think of it like you are an ice sculptor. You've got this block of ice, and the picture is there, the sculpture is there, but you need to take your time and chip by chip, just chip away at it to unveil the masterpiece. And that is what it's all about. What's your pre-trade checklist? So I'll do a weekly like outlook on the markets, so I know what I'm looking for. So it's quite quick. I come in on the morning. I always have my coffee. I don't eat in the morning. I eat after trading. I'll have my cup of coffee, and then with my coffee, sit down, just read some emails, get through that. Then I'll look at the charts, look at like what it is I'm looking at. Is it following my plan? Is the market structure there to take a trade, to even look at taking a trade? If it's not, close the charts, come back another time. But for me to get in a trade, I need market structure to be there. I need to be on the right side of the markets in terms of economics and what's happening with the world. So I think that's very important in terms of my trading. You also trade crypto. I don't trade crypto, I invest in crypto. So it's more long term. You can call it trading though, but it's long term. What's the most expensive mistake you've made in trading? Yeah, most expensive mistake early on in my career. I had a withdrawal coming for $1,500, something like that. And this was big to me back then. I mean, even now, $1,500 is always nice. But like to me, this was very big back then. And I was like 2 days out, and I got a notification on my phone. It was an alert saying, look, I think it was NASDAQ had reached an area that I was looking at. Normally, I don't trade just off my phone. I go to my computer, I analyze, I follow my checklist. And this time I didn't. I just entered a small position thinking, I'll make like an extra $60 or something, which is nice, cool. Trade went into drawdown, went past my stop loss, and at that point I'm thinking, well, I need to now get this money back because I wanted to withdraw this amount, not that amount. And the problem that I had then is I started chasing that money back. So I started entering more. And I eventually got to the point where I actually almost blew the daily drawdown. And even then, I still was in profits on the account. So I closed it for the day. I was like, okay, I can't trade anymore. I'm going to blow it. The next day, I tried to push that account back into that withdrawal, and I completely lost it. Blew the account within a couple of days, which is horrible. What advice would you give to your beginner self? I would say just keep working. Like, in the beginning of my trading career, I was waking up 5 o'clock, adding in hours to learn and sort of working every single day to improve my trading. And Obviously it worked off, but it wasn't easy. It was a lot of time, a lot of hard work and effort went into it, where I really pushed hard to become better, and sort of understand better, and learning, putting together a strategy, forward testing, back testing, you name it. I was putting in hours every day, showing up, and it sort of paid off. So I would say, like, just keep pushing and keep learning, and always be open to learning. I mean, you're never really a master. As long as you're still doing it, the markets always change, and the markets always, you know, you always have to adapt. Interesting. What do you say in replying? What is an A plus setup? I sort of went through, when I went through the market, what I would look for. Black coffee or normal coffee? So I must say I like normal coffee. Um, it's one of those things that I, I don't think I'd be able to go without it, in my opinion. Black with milk, but I can do black coffee if need be. How long does it take you to become profitable? So this is actually, I would say, in terms of like profitable strategy, I found my first profitable strategy in my first year. But actually implementing it, different story. So I think I would say after 2.5 years is when I started becoming profitable. That's when I was able to trade an account and sort of hold it for long enough, where I could, trade one account, and I think it was an FTMO account I traded, and I held that account for 6-7 months, which was quite impressive at that stage. Um, Bro, I want to know, is trading more psychology or more strategy experience? Because some people say trading is only psychology. So look, obviously you need to have some sort of plan. I would say strategy wise, you need to have some sort of plan. You can't just go in there doing nothing. But I think that trading is definitely mostly psychology based. Like, if you think of it this way, trading is one of the very few things in the world where you can do everything right and still be wrong, but you can do everything wrong and still be right. Now, if you look at stats, because that sort of skews the stats, you have to look at it in the terms of long term. So if you don't have a structured plan, long term you'll never be profitable. You're not going to get lucky that many times. So it's all about thinking about in the long term, long frame, and sort of going from there. So do you know QML? I think that's what the Quasimodo or something like that, where you have like the three peaks. I don't really trade patterns, to be fair, so I'm not 100% sure. What does being disciplined actually look like in your trading? Um, I would say being disciplined is showing up every day, um, and sorry, I had a message there. So I'd say discipline in my trading is showing up every day, and making sure that I don't take stupid trades. Sometimes you look at a trade after you've taken it and you think, why am I taking this trade? Why did I even waste my time? So I would say that would be the biggest thing. Are you trading to get rich quick or build consistency? I'm trading to build consistency. I have no plan to get rich quick. As a man, I think, even if let's say my trading, I make $70 million and in one trade, and I can retire for the rest of my life. The problem with that is that I haven't really achieved anything then. And as Viktor Frankl says, man search for meaning. You need to have meaning in your life in order for it to be fulfilling. So I think definitely to build consistency, and also for me, trading isn't the end goal. Business is the end goal. So to build businesses that both have an impact and are something long term. I think is definitely the end goal. Are you reacting to the market or anticipating it? So, for my opinion, you always react. We don't react. We don't predict. We react. So you should always react to the market and not predict, because predicting, you can try to predict when you to look at like long term, when the markets will come up. But when you're trading and you are trying to predict like the news, I can't predict that we're going to have a bullish spike. I am more reactive because I know that coming into this news event, I'm looking for sells. So, and we've come out of this area now. So I'm now watching the market potentially look at sells. Because it's Friday, I don't think I'll jump in any sells. But if a setup comes, I'll take it. What do you think really moves the market? News, liquidity, or sentiment? There's a lot that moves the market. So you got to look at yes, institutions move the market. I agree. But there's a lot that goes on in terms of what's happening between countries, what's happening between massive businesses where you've got people that can really impact the dollar and impact, certain news events and impact, trade. There's a lot that moves the markets. I would say, you look at like the bond markets and how the bonds, sort of have this trickling effect, and you have the crypto market that also has like a trickling effect onto the markets, and everything really it's like an ecosystem that moves the market, which is good to stay up to date. Like you look at, for instance, when we're looking now at the dollar, right? So I'm going to go into the 4-hour. You look at the dollar. Now you look at this week we had the ceasefire notification. What happened? Look at this. Market spiked to the downside. We've got a gap. That's how quickly it spiked. So, something like that can move the market so much. You have to realize that there's so much more to the market than, price isn't moving because there's a support there. It's always about other aspects in the market and other things at play. Do you understand why price moves? Yes, I do. So if you are interested, on the YouTube, I drop a weekly video explaining what's going to move price this week and sort of what to look out for. So I would definitely say go check that out. It's called the Weekly Market Outlook video, where I go in depth, and I would think it's a very good video to watch, on the weekly, to make sure you're up to date with what's happening. How do you identify high probability zones? Just area like knowing what's happening with the markets. So like let's say for the dollar, let me go on to a lower time frame. Let's say for the dollar. Now for the dollar, I know that we are bearish on the dollar, right? But it's not going to be like let's say an obvious play. Like Trump has now said, listen, they are getting rid of the dollar as the currency, the world currency. So now we look at the dollar. Now we know that we are so bearish on this. It's not going to just drop. That would be too much of an easy play. People would make money. So what do these big institutions do? So you know that price is going to push up to grab some liquidity first. So if I know that notification came out here, right here where price is, that notifications come out, then I know that potentially we'll see the sell-off from here to grab all this liquidity, stop loss safe here. So that would, to me, would be like a high probability area, or just an area where prices really wicked from, a few times. Like this is a very nice example. You've got this area here, price wicked into it, price wicked, rejected, price wicked, rejected, and now we're dropping. It's very nice to know in terms of higher probability, but also just know that it's not gonna hit 100% of the time. How do you protect profits after a winning streak? Withdraw. So like if you're on a funded account and you had a winning week, just wait. Don't trade the account until you can withdraw. Don't let greed get the better of you. What's your plan when you double your account? I don't think I ever double accounts. I am slow and steady. So on my own capital, bigger accounts, I take it slow, percent, here and there. On funded accounts, I will never. I mean, if you double in a funded account, then I don't think you're trading right. You should always look at compounding. I would say, sorry, you should always look at trading your account with the thing of, if you were trading, let's say for an institution where you had like $6 million, would you be trying to double it, or would you just go for like 10 to 12% a year? Here's the question. Are you withdrawing profits or compounding everything? So I withdraw profits all the time. But for me, I call it like my ecosystem. So I funnel that into more accounts. You can get more challenges, and then also funnel it into crypto investments, stock portfolio, and sort of just setting myself up in terms of investment portfolio. What's your realistic monthly target? I don't really have a monthly target in terms of trading because it's not my sole income. I've got other aspects. So for me, my daily living is covered by work and other things. My trading money is basically all investments. I'll buy things. So like something I bought now, this recently, nothing, it's not even a big purchase, but I bought a new driver. I don't know if you'd be able to see it, but it's a golf club. It's an AI Smoke, which is very nice, which was bought from trading money. I had made a bit of cash trading gold, withdrew and got the club. And it was on a smaller account, so it was fine. If you had to guide one beginner, where would you step one start from scratch? I would tell them to go to YouTube, learn everything, everything you can. There is about strategies and how to analyze the markets. Because step one would be, you need to know what you're looking at. I remember the first time I came and looked at the charts, I didn't know how to read it. I sat there thinking to myself, how is anybody able to even remotely read this? And eventually you get to the point where you learn, and that's what it's about. Are you the founder or CEO? No, I'm not the founder or the CEO. I am the operations manager. Do you close trades too early out of fear? No, I would say I don't. For me, if I'm closing a trade, I do often use intuition. So I'm an intuition trader, you can say, because I'm a firm believer that your brain, analyzes data quicker than you can even process it. And I think that's a big thing. Yeah, we'll do a spin wheel. What's harder, What's harder for you, cutting losses or letting winners run? I think letting winners run, I would say, is harder. We frozen. Okay, so we are gonna do the giveaway. If everyone can just comment your name. Okay, well, I'll leave a few seconds for people to come back in. We'll leave a few seconds because there's only 2 people. Okay, you don't need to spam your name every 2 seconds, mate. It's going into. Okay, so everybody just comment your name once, please. Harshit, J-Dip, Vivek, Akil, Ahmad. Okay, so we've got 9 people. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 names. I need more names. 9 people. So everyone type your name, please. I've got Mukesh. I've got Harshit. That's Arun. Got that. So we got Jordan. So we got 7 names. We need 2 more. Manish. Got Manish. Okay. A T good. What's your name, bro? I want to put you in the giveaway. T God 1. I'll just put that. Breakout. Breakout Trader 12. Got your name as well. So there was one more questions. Do losses affect your next trade psychologically? I'd like to say personally, I would love to say they don't, but they do. They definitely do. It's one of those things where you're not going to always get over it. So like if I'm coming out of 2 losses, then I know, okay, look, in the back of my mind, I've got those losses there, and it does eat at you. But the only thing that sort of can console you in that is, especially if you know your stats and look, in my back testing, the most losses I can take is 2 or 5, 6, whatever the number is. That's the amount that you can take in terms of losses. Then you know that. I would say. Then you know that your next trade, probability wise, is probably going to be a winner because you've taken losses. So the more losses you take, the more chances that your next one's a winner. Okay, is everybody ready for the giveaway? Let's get some W's in the chat, and then we'll hit the button. Damn. WWW. Let's get it, guys. Okay. Are we ready? Let's do it. Oh, we have 10 names now. Okay. Everybody ready? Boom. Let's see who's the winner today. Who is the winner? We've got T-God1. Congratulations. You have won a free 6K Pro challenge. So to claim your prize, come on over to the Discord and just pop us a message there, open the ticket. Obviously, you just have to prove that it's your account. But yeah, congratulations. And everyone else, I hope you guys gained some knowledge from the giveaway and from the live, should I say. And I'll be live again next week. Sort of looking into this. Gold is definitely showing signs of being bearish now, but nothing really showing for us today. So I'll see you guys next week, and we'll get it going. Give it to everyone, bro. Only 9 people. Nah, unfortunately, we only have 1 giveaway for the live, man. And then the knowledge is what you gain. That's the most important thing. I mean, usually for a live session one-on-one like this with someone, it would be worth quite a bit. I can only do one today, guys. Sorry. But anyways, guys, thanks so much for joining in. Hope you guys, learned. And y'all be ready for next week. We'll do another live. And the weekend, guys. Make sure that you watch that market breakdown. I really do. A good dive. It's a 10-minute video. It is long, but it gives you a good understanding of what to look out for in the week. Anyways, everyone, thanks so much for joining in. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers, guys.